How's it going, vaqueros, and welcome back to the Shotgun Haven. Today's video is going to be very chill. This is going to be more of a discussion, just kind of talk out loud type of video, because I think it's time we talked about shotgun buffs or shotgun balancing in general in Warzone 2. The game's been out a while. We've had a lot of time to play with these shotguns, and I think it's time we just had a little bit of talk like we had before in Warzone 1. So let's just sit back, grab a drink if you want to, let me play in the background or something if you have other things to do, and let's just get into the video. In the background, you're probably going to be seeing some Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer gameplay. I just, to be honest, don't really feel like playing Warzone 2 at this moment. I'm really just waiting on Resurgence, and I'm really waiting on Season 2 because I'm kind of bored of the game. I don't like using a shotgun on this large map. I've never been a big, large map type of Battle Royale guy. I really liked Resurgence, and I really like smaller maps, and Mini Royale is just not really doing it for me either. I don't know, maybe I'm just bored of the game. But anyway, let's get into the video. Now, the big question here is, do I think shotguns in Warzone 2 need a buff? And I'm gonna say yes, but that's a general statement because I have only certain ones that really do need it. So yes, some of them do need it, but others are totally fine. Specifically, the Bryson 890 and the Bryson 800, I think they're balanced totally fine. Yes, they don't one-shot kill, but I don't think they have to. And I think that could be a problem for a lot of people, especially on a smaller map. It wasn't as much of a problem on this big Mazrah map, but as soon as Resurgence comes, if a one-shot shotgun exists, it's gonna be abused to the point where people will just get it nerfed anyway. So I don't think it needs a one-shot kill, but this two-shot kill that it has is totally fine. It's very equivalent to the combat shotgun from Warzone 1. In fact, it's very, very much so, very equivalent. And so I think it's totally fine. It doesn't need a buff, especially with Dragon's Breath. It's great. It's a great shotgun overall. The 890 is great because you have a mag. You can just load in shells one by one with the 800, and they deal plenty of damage. They're great. I really have no complaints about them. Maybe they can be a little bit finicky at times, but I think they're totally fine where they are. The big ones I want to talk about are the Expedite 12 and the Lockwood 300, and we'll start with the Lockwood 300 first. Now, the big issue I have with the Lockwood 300 is that it's just kind of a joke at this point. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talk crap about it in the sense that it's just such a bad gun, and it's sad to see a double barrel shotgun that used to mean something for close quarters battles, that was so kind of feared and respected, to be a complete joke in Warzone, where people would rather pick up the gun and smack someone with it, or they'd rather keep their starter pistol or just punch someone to death than use a double barrel shotgun. That to me is really sad, and even with Dragon's Breath helping the pain that the base gun has, it still needs a little bit of love. Now, the big reason the Lockwood 300 is so finicky is because of that mechanic where I basically talked about it before on this channel. It's the same in Warzone 1 with the 725, but if you hit fire, your damage is capped at only 3 of your 8 pellets. When you aim down sights, it magically goes up to 4 out of your 8 pellets. All the other shotguns are at 4 pellets regardless of hit fire or aim down sights, and I think that with this gun, that's how it should be. Now, I really like that mechanic. I would love to see it implemented more or in a different way, but the way it's implemented on this gun, a gun that only has 2 shots that already doesn't do that great amount of damage, and that you're basically having to aim down sights no matter what to just get the bare bones amount of damage it takes to get a 2-shot kill with the thing, it just doesn't work with this thing. So if they want to insist on keeping that mechanic, then instead of having 4 pellets when aimed down sights, bump it up to 5. Make it to where you have some really good incentive to actually pick the gun up and use it, and not just, oh, I have to aim down sights to even get this thing to work even remotely to where it should compared to the other shotguns. It's just such a weird thing to have on this shotgun specifically, and I just think it needs to be either taken out or increased to 5 pellets or something like that. Make it to where it's dealing some more damage and that it's actually going to consistently 2-shot if you hit your shot well. I don't think it needs to go overboard and just one-shot people, but I would like to see it consistently 2-shot at least up close, and that's just not really happening with this gun, unfortunately. Now, Dragon's Breath does get rid of that, so Dragon's Breath is pretty much a must on this thing, and with Dragon's Breath, I actually found the Lockwood 300 to be a lot of fun and actually kind of worth using, but again, it's only 2 shots, and you don't really have fast hands generally, so you're kind of screwed in a lot of ways if you see any more than one person, but I'm okay with that. Dragon's Breath is nice, just avoid the ground loot version and avoid the base gun. I think this gun really does need some help. The next one I want to talk about is the Expedite 12. This is another gun that is just really not that good. It used to be pretty good because it had a 2-shot kill, but now it doesn't unless you use Dragon's Breath, and that's the big pattern here is you basically have to use Dragon's Breath on these shotguns, which I'm okay with to a point, but it's sad that we have to rely on Dragon's Breath. Sometimes I just want to use that attachment slot on something else and still have a decent shotgun. The Bryson 800 and 890 can kind of get away with it, but the Expedite and the Lockwood, not a chance. The Expedite is sort of the spammy shotgun of the game, and I don't think they need to go overboard with that. The spammy shotguns can get very scary when they're very strong, But this shotgun, it needs a 2-shot kill back. I would really like to see them bring it back with the base gun. Yes, you can get it with Dragon's Breath. It has its own problems with Dragon's Breath, but basically, you're not getting a 2-shot kill with this shotgun. And it does shoot faster than the others, but still not very fast at all. It's still pretty slow compared to the other guns in this game and the other shotguns we've had before. So I think it just needs to have its damage up close buff to get a 2-shot kill, and I'd be totally okay with everything else. Just bring back the 2-shot kill, please. And also, I think that the recoil on this thing, especially when using slugs, needs to be toned down just a little bit. It's actually ridiculous how much recoil this thing has, and I'm okay with a little bit of recoil. But the way that the sights are on this gun, and that it's just not a good combination with the recoil. And if you try to use slugs on this thing, good freaking luck. I tried to make a video on it, guys. I don't know if anyone knew that. I tried to make a video on it before I just said I can't do this. It's too annoying to play with. I use slugs on this thing, and it has great damage potential with slugs, but the recoil, I couldn't hit follow-up shots, and I tried to build a recoil build. It was too slow to aim down sights. I just think this gun needs a little bit of an adjustment to its recoil. Not a lot, but a little bit. And it's going to make it more usable when it comes to slugs or even just the base gun. I know a lot of people complain about the recoil on this thing, and I think a little bit is okay, but right now at this point, it's just too much. It just needs to be toned down. So as far as the base guns go, the Lockwood 300, Expedite 12, those two really need some love. And it's not even a lot of love. It's just something to give them a little bit more oomph to make them just better at close quarters, how they should be, because they're shotguns, for God's sake. But now I want to talk about slugs, because I think slugs are also in need of a little bit of love. Now, slugs in general are pretty strong. Granted, they do have some pretty good damage overall, but I think it's falling short considering the downsides to using them. Because you have really bad muzzle velocity, it's such a slow traveling slug, and even the explosive slugs, I'm kind of lumping them together here. They travel very slowly, and also they have a lot of bloom at further distances, so it makes it really difficult to use them. And because of all these weird inconsistencies, you have to aim down sights and have to deal with the drop and all this stuff, I think they need to be a little bit stronger, specifically for headshots. Now, at some point, I think that sniper rifles and marksman rifles will get 1-shot kill headshots back. I'd be okay if they did, only out to certain distances. They don't need to be infinite range for all of them. That'd be just ridiculous, but especially the Signal 50. But I think to some degree they need to 1-shot headshot, and I'd be okay with it. And if they do, then I immediately want slugs to be a 1-shot headshot as well to a certain degree. Definitely out to their first or even second damage ranges, a 1-shot headshot is totally fine by me. And specifically, when we talk about the Lockwood 300, I think just like the 7.25 from the good old days of Verdansk and the glory days of getting those 1-shot headshots with that thing, man, I think it needs to come back because you only have 2 shots. It's a double barrel shotgun, and it has all these weird inconsistencies when it comes to the bullet velocity and the bloom. I think having a 1-shot double barrel shotgun with slugs is acceptable to no matter what range you are, but that's the only one. I would say that 1-shot headshot seems to be a thing for the other ones as well to a certain point, but with the Lockwood 300, just give it an infinite range 1-shot headshot. At this point, who really cares? Nobody used it in Verdansk days except for kind of trolling, so I think it needs to come back, and I'd be totally okay with it, and I think it would be totally balanced as well. And again, I kind of lumped explosive slugs and slugs together, even though they have a slight difference in how they work, but for the most part, I think they should apply together. And I think that, of course, EOD can still, or rather Bomb Squad, can still make explosive slugs a little bit weaker. Maybe not destroy them completely like they do now, but I do think that they should be following the same suit as normal slugs and still 1-shot headshot out to a certain point. I would really like to see that change. And again, I'm all for it as long as the sniper rifle change comes and they can 1-shot headshot. I think if slugs 1-shot headshot and the snipers don't, there's going to be a giant uproar in the community. As soon as they find out, there's going to be a lot of complaints. I can see it now on Twitter. Just trust me, it'll happen. But it's probably not going to happen regardless. These are just my hopes and dreams for the shotguns in this game. Overall, I want to know, though, what do you guys think? Because in my opinion, I think they're very close to getting it right. I would really love to see some tuning to slugs, the Lockwood 300, and the Expedite 12. Those are really the ones that I think need some love. Not a lot, but definitely some love. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you think about my suggestions, or what do you think about my just general take on the balance of shotguns in Warzone 2? Do you think that they're really weak? Do you think they're actually too strong and need some nerfs? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next shotgun video.